everybody. I'm going to put up a video of one of my Patreon members. I've got his permission to do this. It'll just be in little snippets. He's starting a little business of his own. He's going to be moving to the villages, not full-time, but part-time. And he's also a Patreon member of mine, and I'll bend over backwards to do whatever I can do to help out a Patreon member. He has a YouTube channel that he's had for a while. And his business, I think, that he's wanting to do really fits into, I believe, the villages and the lifestyle and the age group that we have here. So I'm going to put this video up, and keep in mind that I'm going to edit it down to the very minimalist as I can to give you a good flavor of what it is he does. I think it's a great idea, and in the links in the description box and everything, I will put his YouTube channel and the contact information that I have. So if any of you might be interested in doing this, or get in contact with him to have this done, the information will be there. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you at the end of this.
I think she was 19 and mature. Like I said, she graduated like that from public school when she was 12. She was a great mother, loving, kind, and done the best for you. And Mom made a good apple pie.
She made a good apple pie.
Yeah. And she canned and she preserved, and that was before the deep freezes and that. She also went out, that's before milking machines would help milk and that. And then they separated it at the milk, and then cream would go out one side and the milk the other. Oh, and Grandma and Grandpa Harloff, like that, they farmed in Ellis Township, was closed, and then they moved to Stratford. And I would get there for 1 week of holidays in the summer. I used to ride bareback. Listen to this. The only one horse you could stop, you'd have to put her into the fence. Other than that, I don't know where she would have taken you. And oh, Grandma Harlow, her coffee cakes were delicious. She used to sell them for 10 cents a coffee cake. Now listen to this, until I got Mom's birth certificate. She wasn't Vera Lucy, she was Victoria Lucy. And Robert, my brother, said he knew it, and I said, oh. This is just wonderful that this picture was taken, because 3 years later he died as a result of a farm accident. And he had leukemia in the final stages. And we had this one and that one that was taken before. But I remember whenever I got the ring, the engagement ring, we were at the theater. And once he grabbed my hand and put the ring on. He loved cutting down trees. And he'd buy bushes and cut them and sell the logs. And his father's name was Albert, too.
I met my husband, Eric, in Toronto, and we were in the apartments on Lascelles Boulevard, and there were 5 apartment buildings, and Eric was on the 17th floor, and I was on the 7th floor. And one day I was in the elevator, and this really nice Irishman who was an acquaintance said, "Oh, Gillian, I'd like you to meet Eric Adams," but I didn't hear his name because the elevator was crowded. So I thought, how am I going to find out his name? So I have to tell this story, you can leave it out. I thought, how can I find out what his name is? So I thought, well, I'll look. in the apartment where all the letters are, because they've got the names of all the people in the apartments. So I looked, because I knew he was on the 7th floor, and I knew who 2 of his roommates were. So I decided that his name was Robert Lord. I'll never forget this as long as I live. So we get out of the elevator, and Eric was there as well. So I said we started to walk across the park to the subway, and I said to Susan, "Oh, Susan, I'd very much like you to meet Bob Lord." And Eric says, "My name's not Bob Lord, it's Eric Adams." And of course, my cousin Susan was she was a real tease, and she said, didn't even know his name. Of course, I never forgot it, and it was a family joke, as you can imagine. My first date with Eric was going out for supper in Toronto to just a lovely restaurant, and it was a lovely meal. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. My husband proposed to me on an island in Georgian Bay. We had gone to this friend's cottage. We were walking around the island and having just a lovely time. And Eric looked at me and he said, "Would you marry me?" So I said, "I sure will." My most memorable trip was to South Africa, to Kenya. The animals, they were absolutely, I wouldn't have missed them for anything. I suppose it was a safari. It was just absolutely mind-blowing, and the animals were just beautiful, and we saw all of them. And we lived in Ottawa at that time, and Ottawa was a wonderful, wonderful city to live in. It was so interesting, and Eric worked on Parliament Hill, and so he always knew what was going on. And I cannot tell you what a wonderful place it was. Life in Ottawa was wonderful, really was. The children will tell you that Ottawa was one of the most wonderful places to grow up in.
First of all, they started their marriage, our parents. My dad was in the Navy for 5 years. The first 5 years of my life, I didn't know who my dad was. I can remember being at the front door Christmas time. Never met the man. The doorbell rings. I go to the door and, "Mom, there's a man here for you." It was our father. And in fact, I think we have pay stubs from when he was in the Navy for 5 years on board HMS Magnificent. I have a picture of him in the bedroom. They refer to him as a rigger. He operates a crane. I have a picture of him behind the wheel of a crane on board the ship. But he did a lot of maintenance on aircraft.
Well, there you have it. What do you think? I think it's a good fit. I like it. It makes me think. So what do you think? Well, like I said before, the contact info is in the description box below, and you can get a hold of him to find out prices, how to do it, all these little things. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. See you on the other side.